Welcome to this Tutor to You Sociology topic video on stratification and differentiation. In this video we're going to look at the work of Irving Goffman and others on disability as a stigmatized identity. Irving Goffman was a Canadian sociologist who made significant contributions to the understanding of social interactions and identities through his exploration of stigma and the management of spoiled identities. His work is particularly insightful in examining disability as a stigmatized identity. Goffman's seminal book, Stigma: Notes on the Management of Spoiled Identity, provides the foundational framework for understanding how society perceives and interacts with individuals who possess attributes considered deviant or undesirable, such as disabilities. There are a number of key concepts in Goffman's theory. Firstly, stigma. Goffman defines stigma as an attribute that is deeply discrediting, reducing the bearer from a whole and usual person to a tainted or discounted one. Stigmatized individuals possess a characteristic that deviates from societal norms, leading to them being devalued. Secondly, he looked at types of stigma, such as physical abnormalities. Disabilities that fell into this category included physical deformities, mobility impairments, and chronic illnesses. Character blemishes. These were traits that were perceived as moral failings, such as mental health disorders or addiction. And tribal stigmas. These were stigmas that were associated with race, nation, or religion. Another key concept of Goffman's is the spoiled identity. He suggested that stigma leads to a spoiled identity where the individual is discredited and socially marginalised. This impacts on their self-concept and their social interactions, often leading to feelings of shame and inferiority. The visibility of a disability also plays a crucial role in how stigma is experienced and managed. Visible disabilities tend to be more immediately stigmatised, whereas hidden or less obvious disabilities might allow individuals to control the disclosure of their stigmatised status, according to Goffman. And Goffman also looks at the way in which individuals manage stigma, exploring strategies that individuals use to manage their stigmatised identities, such as passing or concealing the disability, covering or downplaying the disability, and engaging in corrective measures or performances to mitigate the stigma that is attached to their disability. Goffman's framework for understanding stigma provided a basis for examining how disabilities are perceived and treated in society, and subsequent sociological research has expanded on Goffman's ideas, exploring the lived experiences of individuals with disabilities and the social mechanisms that perpetuate this stigma. Research by Fine and Ash highlighted the strategies that individuals with disabilities use to navigate social interactions. They often engage in identity work, managing others' perceptions and their own self-concept to reduce the impacts of stigma. Conrad discusses how the medicalisation of disability contributes to stigma by framing disabilities as a pathological deviation that require treatment or correction. The medical model reinforces the view of a disability as a deficit, which further enhances stigmatisation. On the other hand, the social model of disability, advocated by Oliver, contrasts with the medical model by focusing on social barriers and attitudes as the primary sources of disability. This perspective shifts the focus from the individual's impairment to the external factors that disable and stigmatise them. Research by Garland Thompson examines the intersectionality of disability with other social identities such as gender and ethnicity. Intersectional approaches highlight how multiple stigmatized identities can compound discrimination and marginalization, creating unique challenges for individuals with disabilities. Other sociologists look at the normalisation of disability. Wolfensberger introduced the concept of normalisation, advocating for the inclusion of people with disabilities in mainstream society. This approach aimed to reduce stigma by promoting acceptance and integration, challenging the segregation and isolation that often accompany stigmatised identities. Barnes analysed media representations of disability, noting that stereotypical portrayals contribute to the stigmatisation of people with disabilities. He suggested that positive and realistic representations can challenge stigma by promoting understanding and empathy. The stigmatisation of disability has impacts in institutions as well. Studies by Vaughan et al. Show that inclusive educational practices can mitigate stigma by fostering interactions between students with and without disabilities, promoting greater acceptance and reducing prejudice. Scher et al. Examined the employment experiences of individuals with disabilities, revealing that workplace discrimination and stigmatisation are pervasive. Inclusive workplace policies and practices can help to address these issues by fostering a culture of acceptance and support. And studies by Shakespeare highlight how stigma affects the healthcare experiences of individuals with disabilities. Stigmatising attitudes among healthcare providers can lead to inadequate care and reinforce feelings of inferiority and marginalisation. Goffman's research into stigma and spoiled identity remains highly relevant in contemporary discussions about disability. His theoretical framework has been instrumental in shaping sociological understandings of how stigma operates and affects individuals with disabilities. While social attitudes towards disability have evolved since Goffman's work, the persistence of stigma underscores the ongoing importance of Goffman's work. That concludes this Tutor to You Sociology topic video on stratification and differentiation, looking at the work of Irving Goffman and disability as a stigmatized identity. Thanks for watching.